Imagine this. After a long day, you order your favorite burger, pizza, or Chinese takeout. By the time you get home, the food has already spent 15 or 20 minutes inside a paper bag. Logic says it should taste worse than when it left the restaurant. But somehow, that first bite often feels even more satisfying. So what's really happening? Is it the food that's changing, or is it your brain? Most people think it's because they're simply hungry. Hunger certainly plays a role, but it doesn't explain everything. Scientists have discovered that the experience of eating starts long before the first bite. Your brain begins building expectations the moment you place the order, and those expectations can completely change how food tastes. Think about what happens while you're waiting. You imagine the crispy fries, the melted cheese, the smell of fresh pizza. Without realizing it, your brain is preparing for a reward. Psychologists call this anticipation, and surprisingly, anticipation itself can make the final experience feel even better. Then comes the moment you've been waiting for. You open the bag, and a wave of warm aroma escapes into the room. That smell isn't just pleasant, it tells your brain that something rewarding has arrived. Before you've even taken a bite, your senses are already shaping the flavor you'll experience. But here's the twist, that paper bag you carried home isn't just protecting your food. In many cases, it's quietly changing it. As hot food sits inside the bag, steam, moisture, and aroma begin interacting in ways that can completely transform the eating experience. And this is where the real mystery begins. Let's start with something unexpected. Not every takeout meal actually tastes better. French fries often become softer. Fried chicken may lose some crunch. Yet foods like pizza, pasta, curry, and Chinese takeout often become even more enjoyable. Why? Because while texture may change, something else becomes much stronger: aroma. Inside that closed takeout bag, hot food keeps releasing tiny aroma molecules. They don't disappear into the air like they do in a restaurant. Instead, they stay trapped inside the bag, surrounding the food. The moment you open it, those concentrated aromas hit your nose all at once, and your brain instantly prepares for a rewarding meal. Here's something most people never realize: what we call taste is actually dominated by smell. Scientists estimate that a large part of flavor comes from aroma, not just your tongue. That's why when you have a blocked nose during a cold, even your favorite food suddenly tastes dull. Your home also changes the experience in ways you rarely notice. At a restaurant, there are conversations, background music, waiters, and dozens of distractions. At home, everything feels calmer. Your brain pays more attention to the food itself, making every bite feel richer and more satisfying. But the biggest surprise is still waiting. Some food companies and restaurants actually design certain meals knowing they'll spend time inside a delivery bag before you eat them. In other words, the journey home isn't always a problem. Sometimes, it's part of the recipe. Think about pizza for a moment. Fresh out of the oven, the cheese is extremely hot, the sauce is almost boiling, and the flavors haven't fully settled. But after a short drive home, something changes. The temperature drops just enough for your tongue to detect more flavors without burning your mouth. Ironically, waiting a few minutes can actually improve the experience. This doesn't happen by accident. Food scientists know that temperature changes the way we experience flavor. If food is too hot, your taste buds can't detect every subtle detail. As it cools slightly, sweetness, saltiness, and savory flavors become easier for your brain to recognize. There's another hidden player most people ignore: comfort. Home is one of the few places where your brain feels completely relaxed. You're not waiting for the bill, listening to strangers, or thinking about people around you. That relaxed state quietly changes how rewarding a meal feels. Psychologists call this the context effect. Your brain doesn't judge food only by its ingredients. It also judges where you're eating, how you're feeling, who's with you, and even your mood. In other words, you're never just tasting the food. You're tasting the entire experience. Now the mystery becomes even bigger. If smell, temperature, comfort, and psychology can all change the taste of the exact same meal, then how much of flavor actually comes from the food itself? And how much is created inside your own brain? The answer might completely change the way you think about every meal you eat. The food industry understands this surprisingly well. That's why many restaurants don't simply focus on how food tastes in the kitchen, they also think about how it will taste 20 minutes later. The goal isn't just to make delicious food, it's to make sure that first bite at home still feels unforgettable. This is why some foods travel beautifully, while others don't. Pizza keeps its rich aroma. Pasta continues absorbing sauce. Curries often become even more flavorful as the spices blend together. But crispy fries or fried chicken slowly lose the texture that made them special. Every food tells a different story during the journey home. So the next time your takeout tastes better than expected, remember, it isn't just because you were hungry. Your brain was building anticipation. The aroma was becoming more concentrated. The temperature became more comfortable. And your home created the perfect environment to enjoy every bite. The biggest surprise is that the food itself may not have changed very much. What changed was the way your senses and your brain worked together. Sometimes, the most powerful ingredient in a meal isn't cheese, spices, or sauce, it's the experience surrounding it. So, the next time you open that takeout bag, don't just think about the food inside. Think about the hidden science, the psychology, and the tiny details quietly shaping every bite. Because sometimes, the biggest food mysteries aren't hidden in the recipe, they're hidden inside our own minds. If you enjoyed uncovering this mystery, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Food Mystery Lab for more fascinating food science, psychology, and hidden stories behind the foods we eat every day.